Hey folks, we're going to have a discussion about how the stock market is basically broken. This is going to be a real conversation, and it's not a conversation I wanted to have in the first place. It just seems more relevant now that I'm getting this mob mentality from our chat group, from all over the internet right now that is trying to take on GameStop, AMC Network, and oh my god, guys, just destroy these fund managers. And this rhetoric that follows this is so destructive, not only from a personal investor level, but just from a broader, like your grandmother's money type level. Like, this is some real shit, guys, and I'm going to try and explain this in a way that'll hopefully offer some transparency here, because like right now nobody even cares about earnings. No one cares that tech just posted like gangbuster earnings. Facebook grew their EPS by 50% and the stock is down like 5% since that earnings. I've been picking these stocks up, but it doesn't matter where I tune in. Everyone keeps discussing this GameStop stuff. I'm just going to take a step back and explain a few points, and let's start with Robinhood first, okay? Like, Robinhood, I honestly feel bad for them because what they did was dumb. They shouldn't have done it. It's a free market. I should be able to allow to buy, trade, do what I want with my money. But at the same time, looking at Robinhood from like the outside perspective, here we have a smaller broker that makes it easier than any broker to take margin, trade stocks and options, right? So let's say this big movement starts and all of a sudden Robinhood, like CEOs, these managers, all the tech guys are sitting on the back computer and looking at tens of thousands of accounts open up. And this is me just making a conspiracy here, but let's presume there's tens of thousands of new accounts opening up. Half those accounts, a huge percentage of them, are opening up margin. They're seeing a higher degree of margin trading, and they're looking like, what are people trading margin with? Why is there so much hype? And they see GameStop, and they see everyone following this movement buying GameStop on margin, knowing that likely by the end of this, it's going to be in a lot of pain for a lot of these accounts. They might be just petrified that they were going to get left on the hook with tens of millions of dollars in margin that got screwed over in GameStop. So they tried to put a halt to it, which again, I agree 100% wrong. But in the same notion, if we're going to complain about Robinhood, because then you got to talk about the 80 other brokers that went down. They didn't even block you from buying shares in GameStop. They just flat out stopped working. Mine was one of them, guys. So the only lesson that really comes out of that is own multiple brokers, because it ain't just going to be Robinhood in the future. And this is a very unique set of circumstances. And I'm confident as the story unfolds over time, we'll get to see some clarity, but Robinhood is going to get crushed. Just from a branding standpoint, this does not look good for them, guys, but I'm Canadian. I can't access Robinhood anyways, folks. But okay, put that aside. Let's talk about how GameStop is destroying the entire stock market right now, guys, because there's this really weird mentality. It's kind of like mob mentality where everyone gangs up, points the finger at an enemy and chases after them. I mean, this is the narrative, right? Are these big fund managers, let's destroy their short positions and let's just do something that's never been done before, which is absolutely incredible. And I think it should be allowed to happen 100%. This is almost becoming like, the feeling of it is almost like a political undertaking. Like, this was like the kind of tension we saw going through the last presidency here, guys, and it's just getting dumb, because what people don't realize is it's your grandmother that has money in these hedge funds, right? These hedge funds were taking on positions to them were easy money for your grandmother. You think if these funds go broke that like the guys running it are losing money? Hell no, it's your grandmother that's going to go broke, just like in 2008, guys. And a lot of people are cross-referencing this to 2008, but you can't even point your finger at the banks for doing all these mortgage-backed securities in 2008, because it was your dumb uncle or your dumb aunt that realized she could leverage like 10 properties from the bank, and the bank was dumb enough to let her take the mortgages out against it when she was like 10x leveraging herself. Like, it's a convoluted web that isn't just some guy at the very top. Now, the guy at the top never loses because he's not an idiot and he's not managing his own wealth. He's managing yours, and he's not using debt like these dumb people on Robinhood are margining their accounts into GME. Like, this hedge fund gets destroyed, it is very likely what we're seeing rattle through the entire market right now, guys. We've had the greatest earnings in tech history, and the markets are going down. And there's probably a really good correlation between what happened there and what's happening here, as a lot of these companies, and it's probably not just that one firm, there are probably dozens of hedge fund firms trying to make up for billions of dollars in lost capital from trying to short these companies here. So anybody with money in these funds, Grandma, I'm sorry, but you're going to be feeling this. The rest of us likely feeling this through the market. And this whole movement of suckering people into taking money, YOLOing it, and I don't know if they're convinced that they're going to make money, if they're convinced to just be a part of the movement, but throwing it in a company that should have been bankrupt, the riskiest stocks anybody could have bought in the market, thus the crazy short interest. The only people that are going to come out on the other side of this doing just fine, and I'm waiting to see it happen with GameStop, but AMC already diluted diluted the living hell out of shareholders. I mean, they took full advantage of this. They raised enough money to get them through the next year. And everyone's saying, like, why isn't GameStop doing the same? Why aren't they diluting the crap out of their shares right now? So they're $1 billion in outstanding debt right now. Like, it would be brilliant. And it's something that'll be a discussion, I'm sure, over the weekend. But I'm going to say this and reiterate this, being a more passive investor, guys. You can trade whatever you want. This is just my own personal perspective, but I already stated this many times and got reamed out for it. If you want to join the movement, just presume you're gambling. There's nothing wrong with it. I got nothing against anybody doing this stuff, guys. Take some money. You want to YOLO it, go ahead and do it. But just understand this cause that they're trying to get you to sign up for isn't really that just. You're not really taking on any big enemy that's not going to end up hurting yourself, which again, it might be already if you're in the general market, because that could be why it's all going down. I mean, it's the only things that are correlating right now. Is everyone only cares about GameStop and what Chamath is doing in that next SPAC play, guys, which is very terrifying because, again, these are just super speculative bets that is garnishing the attention of the entire world right now. And I think it's going to set into motion something that isn't good. From a fundamental investor that buys for the long-term hold and trying to find a really structured, safe portfolio, that isn't the mentality people are approaching the market with right now. And it is even attracting that of fundamental investors. And it's not a good investment philosophy. I don't think most people are mentally or emotionally equipped to deal with this. And they're buying into GameStop thinking that they're going to make a fortune. Though I'm telling you, when we come out on the other side of this, whether it's next week, a month, a year from now, there's a very good likelihood that this stock is going to be worth way the hell less than it is now, guys. GameStop was going to be bankrupt. Today, it's over a $30 billion company. GameStop is smart. Maybe they'll do themselves a favor, dilute shareholders, and save themselves from going bankrupt and maybe reestablish some kind of online business, which is what they're trying to essentially do right now. But I pass the question off to you guys. I'd love to know what you think about this web of a mess. Did you get involved in this craziness? Are you part of the movement? Do you think this is a good movement? I mean, I'm just offering my humble opinion. I could be completely wrong as well. I'm not a financial advisor. But in light of all of this, if you guys want to continue the conversation, join us over at the Passive Income Educator, where I will be live with my boy Matt Money. Combined, we have over $8 million in the market, and we will be continuing these discussions at 10 p.m. tonight. So stay cool, stay awesome. I look forward to catching you maybe tonight, tomorrow, who knows.